The Handmaid's Tale Season 5 Episode 5 trailer explained. With Episode 4 of the show finishing the way that it did, with June looking as though she'd quite literally burned the past that was built up inside of her mind and causing her to be fearful of her uncontrollable actions, she's fully on board with it now, and so is Luke. After the episode had aired, a trailer for the next episode was released, and it looked as though there may be a trip that's planned that could potentially go wrong. So with that, I thought I'd break down the trailer that was given to us, along with giving my theories and predictions to what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is the Handmaid's Tale Season 5 Episode 5 trailer explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The next episode of the show is titled Fairy Tale, and the trailer opened up with Luke saying, "I'm going across," with June responding and saying, "I'm going with you." Judging by the surroundings, it looked as though they were in the location where they went to in episode 3, where there were a group of survivors of Gilead who were working on rescuing others. This was located close to the border, so it seems as though both Luke and June are going to take matters into their own hands in order to retrieve their daughter Hannah from Commander Mackenzie. It's also confirmed that they're at this location later on in the trailer as well, when Moira was standing there with the individual that we met in episode 3 who was based at the camp on the border. She asked, "What is it with these two?" And Moira replied, "They don't quit," which showed the strength, determination, and won't stop attitude that they both hold, along with the lengths that they're prepared to go to get their daughter. After this, we then cut to a scene of Alanis stating, "I see your strength and faith. I see why God put his divine light in you," as she was speaking to Serena. We saw at the end of episode 4 that Serena looked rather fearful of the over-the-top nature in which she was greeted with, and with what looked like an obsession that was going to occur of Serena and her child that's soon to be born. We then saw a shot of 8 women surrounding Serena whilst she sat there with their hands on their stomach, showing the obsession with her child-to-be, and also the support that's growing for Gilead's ways and teachings across the border in Canada. Serena had a smile on her face, but I feel as though inside she's fearful of the individuals that are surrounding her and the mindset that they hold. She doesn't hold the obsessive, worshipping mindset that they do, and it's a dangerous one to hold. We then had 2 shots in quick succession, and it looked like a place where they're holding children. They looked relatively unresponsive to what was going on, so it makes me think that they're quite new to the way of life, and with the Gilead Republic emblem on the wall, it feels as though the teaching and indoctrination is going to begin in this location for the children, for them to eventually go on to be adults that follow the ways and teachings of Gilead, so it looks as though we're going to get a glimpse inside of the location. After this, we then saw Luke and Hannah on the dance floor together and embracing each other. Following the end of episode 4, we saw that they were both aligned and on the same page, and this meant that they were both prepared to take out Serena if it meant that they would get their daughter back. Usually Luke was the level-headed one, but with Serena taunting him inside of the embassy, it appeared to have changed the way that he viewed his own morals. So both himself and June combined could be an explosion waiting to happen, especially if they no longer have boundaries themselves. After this, we saw a selection of shots from outside in the street, where there were banners and signs saying things like "Leave our city" and "This is our country," showing that the people of Toronto have not responded well to Gilead opening up a centre in the city where the teachings can occur. They are 2 polar opposite ways of life, and with it seeming as though support is growing for the teachings of Gilead, there was always bound to be a negative reception from the public, and this appeared to be that. There are police officers present there, and it looks as though June, Luke, and Moira are also present as they approach the street in the car. We then had the line, "We don't want them poking around in our affairs," being spoken by Mr Putnam as he was speaking to Commander Lawrence. This could be referring to the fact that Serena is off working in Canada, and it appeared as though more people have been getting recruited, so in order for it to grow, the government may want to see a little more of what's going on inside of Gilead in order to determine whether or not it's something that they want to continue to develop in their country. We then had the line, "Well, you can thank June Osborne and her husband for that," being spoken by Serena. I think that this is taken from a different scene, one from the house that she's staying at. It could be referencing the closing of the embassy in the city, as that's the only thing that as of now, the both of them would have a combined contribution in doing together, and an individual in the house could be asking Serena what had happened. After this, we then had what looked like June and Luke in the forest aiming to cross the border, with the hopes and intentions of getting into Gilead. However, it seemed as though they'd been spotted. They're having weapons held towards them, and it looked as though they surrendered. The next shot was in the darkness of night, where it looked as though they were evading their captors. I'm thinking they were kept somewhere for the time being and then managed to escape later on in the day. It seems as though they're going to get chased up until the point where a vehicle almost runs into them. I think that this vehicle is going to belong to the individuals that rescue people from inside of Gilead that sits on the border, so I think both Luke and June will make it out alive. There was an explosion in the final part of the trailer, but judging by the weapon that appeared to be falling out of the individual's hands, I think it was somebody that was looking to capture both Luke and June. We heard the words, "We can make it," being uttered by June, so I think that's most probably taken from when they've almost made it out of there. Then the trailer cut to black and that was all we got. I think episode 5 is going to be a good one. Episode 4 was a bit of a slow burner in the sense that it felt as though it didn't progress the story that much. However, it appears as though there's going to be action that's taking place in this episode. I still feel that Nick will be absent following what occurred in episode 3, and I also feel we may get to see Esther in episode 5, as we've not seen her since she poisoned the chocolate, so I'm intrigued to see if she'll face the usual harsh punishment of a handmaid, or if Aunt Lydia's new ways of teaching, punishment, and lifestyle will take its first step in the way that Esther gets dealt her punishment. I don't think that June and Luke will get Hannah in this episode. I feel a lot of the story is building up to them eventually getting Hannah, but maybe towards the end of the season. But with no Commander Mackenzie present in the trailer, it leads me to think that he won't be making an appearance. I also don't think that Luke is going to make it to the end of the season. His level-headedness is what's kept him grounded and ultimately alive. So with him now essentially throwing caution to the wind, we could see fatal repercussions. The growth of Gilead's ways is present to see, and I do think that something is going to go down in the house that Serena is staying in. Something relatively haunting, as the individual that she's staying with seems obsessed in all of the wrong ways. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in episode 5. So, there you have it, the Handmaid's Tale Season 5 Episode 5 trailer explained. If you want to see more videos on the Handmaid's Tale, such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you want to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen next? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.